it, so I know when there's a right time and a right place to be angry, to be upset and emotional. And I've done London for 5 years. I've organised massive protests in London with some great people. From Thetford also, Bob, Jeff Mealing, Zach. Zach, great guy, someone very much like me, someone that's passionate, someone's got integrity, morals and compassion for the people, and he speaks the truth. So I'm going to speak on behalf of my little town of Bury St Edmunds, and I've had Zach with me many times in West Suffolk Council to tackle local agendas against the people, and one of them was Roger O'Driscoll from our council. Recently took £1 million bunts off the government to house 400 illegal Afghan migrant men in my community. So when I found out about that, and there was homeless on the street at the time, and I was trying to stand up for them to give them a voice because they were given less then, I explained it to the council, West Suffolk Council, with another guy over here, Ian, you might see him, there's another great guy at Bury St Edmunds, an older fella, but he stood for the community, he's outreached with me in the streets and given people real information. What the council are pushing is disgusting. So they've taken £1 million bunts off the government. They're now going to house these illegal Afghan migrant men into HMOs. A friend of mine's just been kicked out of a property in Bury St Edmunds near the college, and they've been put into temporary accommodation. Now, with that temporary accommodation, they're putting these men instead in these flats. So they're right next to school children, right next to college students, and only recently 6 lads who have been following me in London have been watching me stand up for the community, come up to me last night, and one of them young lads' sisters have been followed by one of these men in the community, one of these illegal migrants, and they've been touching his sister, grooming his sister, following his sister, gang stalking his sister. So these 6 lads, under the age of 16, very respectful lads, took it into their own hands because the police didn't want to know. The police come out and they defended these men. So they took it into their own hands to interview them and put them up on TikTok, this one particular man who spoke no words of English. But when the police were rung and they came along, they took the man, put him in a police car and took him back to the hotel where he was staying. Didn't arrest him, didn't hold him accountable. And I'm going to say one thing, I was here only last Sunday, and when I have a chat with the police officers, I come to the police officers and I ask them how they feel, what their view is on it, their opinion, because I've had 5 years where officers have come into my face, intimidate me aggressively when I've stood in the streets of Bury St Edmunds and in London and in Manchester and Leeds. I've been all over the country. I say it in a slightly different way to other people. Yes, there might be a threatening demeanour in there, but you would be when your community's being destroyed and your country's being overrun by these men. But these same men that are being defended by police officers. Now, I did Scotland Yard only last year, and I stood outside that police station. There was over 1,200 police officers done on charges of, and I won't say the word, but sexually assaulting women and children in police uniform. And one particular officer, and I won't go into great detail of that, went into a mother's home with a social worker and went up to the bedroom of a 4-month-old baby. And I won't say any more than what he did, but he's still in the uniform. You can probably guess what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to say in front of these children's family. So these same men in uniform, not all of them, there's good and bad in everything, not every officer's a bad person, but you take what Zach has rightly said on his signs over there, you swear an oath to protect the people. Now, you're not actually protecting the people, you're here just to make sure things go peaceful, and yet at this minute it is peaceful, but you're going to have to find a time in your life, what side are you standing on, the light or the dark side? And at the moment, you are defending these same men, you're allowing them to go into the community, sexually assault our women, our children, and as a man, as a masculine, that really angers me. When you come out into the streets and give me 2 antisocial behaviour orders in Bury St Edmunds, when not just recently, a guy called Robert Askew, who's a police officer in our town, 27-year-old, was also charged for having indecent imagery of children on his computer and laptop, and it was category C imagery of a child being sexually assaulted. The same officer that come out and told me to shut my mouth up when I was in the community explaining how much money had gone into housing these men just in Bury St Edmunds alone. And now you've got this camp behind us, and they're going to go in this camp. We ain't going to be able to stop it. There's 1,200 are going there. They'll have them placed into your communities, into HMOs, private rented accommodation, and when that's done, they'll put another 1,200 in here, and they'll keep training them up. And only recently, a friend of mine from Manchester, she allowed these men to come into her hotel. Unfortunately, she took the funding from the government, and there was military personnel that dropped off some ammo crates in her property, and she said, well, it's my property, I need to know what's in there. She was told not to open these cashment crates, and there was AK-47s in there, Kalashnikovs and grenades. Now, I believe this woman because I know her very well, but we all know what's going to happen to these type of people that speak out and they go missing. So you're defending these people with a military camp, be honest, and we ask ourselves, why would you house them in a military camp? So I'm also hearing police officers are having training in this particular place behind here as well, because we all know most of these police officers work for the government. And Andy Burnham was a typical man from Manchester, a council leader, that allowed all these women to be silenced when they were groomed in the community, grooming gangs. These women committed suicide, lost their lives. So when I go out into the street, I stand for the women and children, because I'm a man, a father of 2 children, and that really upsets me that these officers have got a problem with us standing here today and speaking. We're being peaceful, we're being polite. I've never ever aggravated any police officer or attacked any officer. That's not who I am. I've got to set an example to my 2 children. But I will have my say, and I'll ask you your opinion on this. There's a guy over here, Zach, you've arrested many a times, wrongfully accused him of standing for the community of Thetford and Barnham, and a great guy he is, and I'm going to speak for him every time. There's a place like all these people here today, these good people are here, because they're concerned and upset that you're allowing it to be pushed through into the communities of Barnham, Thetford and my town, Bury St Edmunds, where people are so silent and very quiet on the 400 men you're now placed in my community to a danger to our women and children. You should be concerned if you're wearing a uniform, a police uniform. You should be standing with the people. There's going to be an uncomfortable time, like I said. If you're a council worker, a police officer, a social worker, what side are you standing on when these men come out into your community and go against our people? That's coming. His story repeats itself, and it's going to repeat itself once again, and we're going to have to make sure we're ready to protect our home, our families and our children, and our women especially, because they're attacking them, sexually assaulting our women, abusing our children, traumatising our children on the streets. And as officers, you should be arresting them and putting them behind bars, holding them responsible and charging them. But you have an issue with anyone that opens their mouth like me, like Zach, like Bob, like Jeff Mealing, like good people I've stood for, I'm with in the community of Thetford in the council, and you've got someone like Terry Jeremy, who I've met a few times. What a scumbag, I'm just going to put it blatantly, he's a scumbag. If he really cared about your community, where is he? He's not speaking today, is he? And we will mention it again, Terry Jeremy. You was on a profile with some really wicked pictures of yourself, showing people who you really are. And I'm going to embarrass you, old mate, because when I come up against you, we'll have a little interview and it'll be me in your face speaking. And you won't like it the way I say it, you'll be running for the hills, mate. You're a scumbag, you don't care about the people. Thetford Council don't give a crap about the people, and they're funding this. When they're saying they're not funding it, they're fighting for the communities, they're funding it. Bury Council have already funded it, £4 million, 400 Afghan migrant men in my community. And I'm all about unity. I'm all about standing together. It doesn't matter what culture, race, colour of skin you are. If you've got a good heart and a good soul, that's all that matters to me. And I've stood with people all over the world in London. They're good people, but they're concerned just like we are. Because you're allowing these men to come in our community that will destroy us and ruin our lives. Save our children, footsteps of freedom.
Well said.
To do this, but it's important. The camp is important to me, and I stand in front of you as a mother, but more importantly, a voice. A voice to my 15-year-old daughter, who is autistic, but comes with a condition within that called sensational mutism. What is that? Well, if she's put in situations and doesn't know the people, she becomes mute. The brain and the body freezes. She cannot answer questions. She cannot scream, she cannot shout or draw attention to herself. The inside of her just melts down. She becomes mute. Over the past, we have had that she is shy, even ignorant. No, she's mute. She's not mute to us and the people that she has confidence in. So over the years, I've had to become her voice. Last year, she got hurt. And I had quite a battle with the police, just to get female officers to understand and go on her case. Thetford let me down. Swaffham and the DCI from Norwich were extremely good, and I will be forever grateful to them. But imagine that, having to fight for your own daughter's rights. When I started coming to camp 8 weeks ago, I made a promise to my daughter that I would be her voice once again. Can you imagine? Thank you. Can you imagine if one of these immigrants approached her? I have no words, because she would freeze. I can't actually believe that I've had to sit her down, talk to her about the dangers, tell her she can only go to certain places, and in groups of 4 or more. And more importantly, that now she has to carry a rape alarm with her. What has this world come to? As a mother, a wife, a sister, a woman, I no longer feel safe where I live. Where's our protection? A government leaflet that's not going to help us? In fact, to me, that's the government admitting that there's a problem. A problem that's growing daily before our eyes. Aren't the government meant to serve king and country? Aren't the police and the borders? In fact, I think they all need to go to Specsavers, because they're not seeing what we're seeing. And clearly, we are being ignored, the British public and the British beliefs. Where are the Army, the Navy, the RAF? Do they not serve our country anymore? If so, why are we paying our taxes? To just line the pockets of the government and the MPs? I once again say, where is our protection? Well, I'll tell you where the protection is. It's amongst us. I feel that it has now become time to look after one another, and as a community, that is what we'll do, and we'll do it to the end. I never thought in a million years that I would be protesting at the gates of Barnham, fighting for our children, fighting for our women, fighting for our vulnerable, and fighting for our town. But here we are. And along with you, I'm trying to get answers, live my life that's becoming a nightmare. This isn't racism. This is about 1,200 unvetted men coming to stay here, uninvited by the community, but forced upon us. What gives the government the right, and why? Have they forgotten that they serve us, the British taxpayer? And what's the real reason behind this? I'm afraid the questions myself and the community are asking will never